Hey guys, Mark here, and this is just going to be a real quick video to go over some of the repair procedures for replacing your main gear, the main shaft, as well as if you ever have to replace your tail boom or do anything that requires you to take your tail boom off there. Show you how to do that there. So, like I said, real quick video just on those three repair procedures. Okay, when you got to change your main gear, this is a very simple process and pretty quick here. Down here in the bottom, you can see that screw right there. Just go ahead and unscrew that, and usually once you get it so far, you can just pull it out with a pair of needle nose there. Alright, next thing you're going to do, disconnect the three linkages right there, and that's, if you've got a pair of link pliers, it's a really simple process. Okay, the three links are disconnected. Now what you got to do is bring your swash plate all the way up to the top. Carefully bend this back a little bit, and then rotate the swash plate out of the swash plate guide. Now, all you got to do is pull the whole head assembly up, and you don't even have to take it all the way out. And at that point, you can rotate your main gear right out the side, and there you go. Now, one thing to be careful about when you take the main gear out, the screw on the opposite side for the main gear can fall out when you originally take that screw out. But, so again, that's how you change the main gear, and you just, it's as simple as sliding it back in there, and you're good to go. Now, also, while we have this out, you can go ahead and you can actually slide the entire head assembly out at this point. So if you ever have to change your main shaft, all you need to do is go through, unbolt that, then up here at the top you have one more screw. If you just go through, unbolt that, you can pull this whole head assembly right off the top. And actually, I'll just go ahead and show you that. It's really simple. Okay. I took that screw out now. There you go. There's your main shaft. And when you put your new one back in there, if you're just careful, you can slide it all the way up and through. Then you just go ahead and line up the hole and put everything back together, and you're good to go. Now, when you go to put your main shaft in, sometimes you may want to loosen that up. If you're only replacing the gear, you may want to loosen that up and slide it up, so when you slide the main shaft down there, you have a little bit more room to play around to get that lined up with the main gear there. If not, sometimes you don't have to. But so again, that's just how you change your main gear and the main shaft. Okay, real quickly, I'm going to show you how to take your boom off if you have to replace your boom or if you have to replace your tail shaft here. The first thing you're going to need to do, go ahead, unmount your servo. You're not going to have to unplug it, just unmount it. Go ahead, loosen up these 4 screws right here, and then go ahead and take these screws off so that way you can get these stay bars come up. Okay, with these bolts loosened, just servo out of the way, and your night head bars here unmounted. Now you can go ahead and you'll see the belt down here. You can push your boom forwards and the belt will loosen up. Then just go ahead, take some screwdriver or something and slip it over the pulley. Alright, now you can just go ahead and pull the whole boom right out the back. Okay. Alright, now real quick note too, anytime you have your boom off or you replace it, just go ahead and sand the end of it just a little bit. So that way when it's inside the block in here, it's got a little extra resistance there to help it prevent the boom from sliding in and loosening up your belt, because that can happen. So that's just a little tip there. So if you're replacing your boom, then all you got to do is go ahead for like your servo mount, just loosen it up. You could dismount your servo horn and then just slide it right off the boom. For your back here, same thing. Just make sure you pay attention to what you take off, what order you take it off, and then I'll go ahead and take this off here real quick and show you this too. Okay, to take your tail off, you have to disconnect your linkage, take your tail fin off, which is just held on by 2 screws. Then you'll have 3 small screws right here in the end, and then you're also going to have an Allen screw right here. Now the Allen screw at the top is for the silver pulley up here. Now when you put it back on, make sure you don't over tighten this because this pulley needs to spin. Alright, so after you take that off, the tail box will come apart. And when you take the screw out, the pulley will just fall off. Alright, but now you can go ahead and pop the tail box apart. See that part comes off, and there you go. So if you ever had to replace the tail shaft, this is how you're going to get it off. And you can see your tail belt right here, and I'm just going to go ahead and slip this out. Now when you go ahead to put this back in, it's going to be a lot easier if you find a piece of wire. You slip it down to the end and then wrap it around the belt and then use the wire to pull the belt through. If not, you can just feed it through, but it will take you a little bit more time and probably be a little bit more frustrating. So again, this is what I would do, or what I do, I should say. Try not to crimp the belt too. Just go ahead and slide it. Make sure you got it bent the right way too. Don't have it inside out. Now you can just go ahead, pull it through, and you're good to go. So when it comes to putting the tail box back on, and one thing I want to tell you about the tail box here, it's got these little nubs in here, and sometimes these nubs can break off. So just be careful if you ever have a bad crash and you hit the tail box really hard, be careful that that doesn't happen, because that will ruin your day. So put the tail box back on, and you can just tighten the belt up a little bit, put it back on, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how to get your tail belt direction going the right way. Okay, when you get ready to install your boom again, you need to make sure we get the belt going the right direction. Now, if you have your belt going straight up and down like this, when you pull the top of it, the tail blades should come towards you. Now you can see they're going backwards. Now if they're going backwards, you're going to need to make a half a turn in either direction. Now, if you had made a turn in the wrong direction, the belt would have one full twist in it, and when you try to pull it, you're going to feel the teeth rubbing against each other. But when you have it going the right direction, it should spin freely. Alright, so on the belt CP, the pulley in here, when it's going around like this, the pulley goes like this. So the belt needs to have a quarter turn this direction, so that when you pull this part of the pulley, or the belt here, it spins the rotor blades up into the rotor wash there. Okay, so again, you're going from straight up and down, quarter turn. Now, go ahead and slide this in the helicopter, and usually you can get this to stay pretty straight as you slide it through, and you'll see it come through the top there. And if it turns, keep hitting the camera here, you should be able to tell, but just slide it through, and a lot of times you should be able to get this on the first try, but if for some reason you don't, just slide it back off and try it again there. But go ahead, put a little tension on it, and then spin the rotor head here, to make sure that your tail rotors are spinning up. Here, show you it like this. Alright. And now you just go ahead and tighten up the screws right here and reconnect the night head bars, and you're good to go.